And we are back. 5:30 is the time. The Bay Bridge shutdown is our top story. If you hadn't heard, the Bay Bridge is completely shut down this morning. They closed it off at 8 p.m. last night. Won't reopen until 5 a.m. Tuesday of next week, so keep that in mind. We've got a picture here that we wanted to bring to you. This again shot from the perspective of the Yerba Buena Island on the ground, looking up here at the span as it approaches the island. This is the section they're going to cut away. And if you notice here, all this framework that's been built up that extends out from the bridge, those are the tracks. That's what the old section of the bridge that they cut out is going to slide across on so that it can get out of the way, and so they can slide the new section in. There's another perspective too. Caltrans has a camera on the island looking down onto the upper deck here where they're actually doing all that cutting. And I don't know if you can see in the background there where they have the big floodlights lit up, but they've got a bunch of diggers out there, or a bunch of construction equipment that's breaking up the concrete, cutting through the metal, and making that first incision along that portion of the bridge. And down below, KRON 4's Yulia Seves is on the ground looking up, and here's her perspective here at the underside of the old span, and then here in the foreground, the new span. Good morning, Yoli.
Hey, good morning, James. Yeah, it's a little quiet right now in the moment, but every once in a while you'll hear, you know, just banging away, trying to rip apart that pavement, and hearing some of the steel being cut through, and you'll see sparks going on here. You know, we just spoke to Bartonet, and he was just talking about how they're pretty much on, actually about an hour and 40 minutes ahead of schedule, and that's really thanks to clearing the bridge. When it came down to closure, they did it like in 20 minutes, and he actually said that's really a tribute to all the drivers who've had paid attention to of this day coming, and they were able to clear out pretty quickly. So that gave them the jump on the work here, and so now they're an hour and 40 minutes ahead of time. And Bart was also talking to us about how the weather's cooperating. Let's take a listen.
The risks involved probably start with how high everyone's working. They're about 150 feet up in the air where they're doing all of this work, the demolition, the roll-in, the securing of the steel. So that's probably number one. One of our biggest concerns early on was wind. We're feeling pretty good about the weather right now. We got past that threshold. We're cutting the bridge. We're going to monitor the weather the entire weekend because wind is a big factor on this operation. But we're in the most challenging part right now. Cutting the old bridge and moving it is probably going to be the hardest part of this.
And indeed, this is the hardest part, just because this is an 80-year-old bridge. It wasn't meant to be, you know, it's not a sectional bridge. It really was designed to be a link, so to speak. And so, you know, they've done every precaution possible of tightening up bolts, customizing clamps on the bridge so that when they remove it, it doesn't just fall apart on them as they remove it. But we will be talking to Bart, excuse me, a little later at 6 this morning. Excuse me.
Yeah. There's a lot of dust out there. Yeah, I can imagine with all that work going on. Hey, Yoli, before we let you go, just to give people an idea of how high this is that they're working on, 150 feet up, can you zoom in on that scaffolding in the background where all the stairs that the construction workers can use to climb from the ground floor all the way up to where the deck of the surface is? And you can see people there on the right side of your screen, Yoli. If you tilt up a bit and pan to the right, there you see them working on the deck. Look how small those people are compared to, to the giant girders and columns that they're working on this morning. Amazing work going on out there right now. But again, what you need to know is that the Bay Bridge is shut down, and that means you're going to have to find another way of getting around. A whole lot of folks will be doing that. We're following that angle of the story in the traffic center. Hey, guys.
Yeah, we got more than 250,000 cars a day, George, that pass over the Bay Bridge, and they have to go somewhere. Hopefully not all at once. So far this morning, so good. Yeah, empty there. You can't go there.
Completely dead. And we're going to take a look at the Golden Gate Bridge, I think, Daria, because we've already seen the construction. I don't think we need to monitor that again.
No, I'm just really curious where these cars going to wind up, where the people winding up right now.
Right.
Nice commute so far here.
Golden Gate Bridge. I talked with the sergeant's office. What's the plan this morning? They said we're going to have standard commute configuration. That's 4 lanes southbound, 2 lanes northbound. And look at this. I mean, even for 5:30, that's reasonably light traffic here for 101 southbound.
Right.
And again, this is kind of what we expected. I think a lot of folks, maybe someone that did have to drive, is playing the wait and see game. How's it look early?
Right.
And folks are sitting at home watching going, heck, this isn't bad.
Yeah.
Maybe I could drive in today.
Well,
and I think we're going to hit that wave. Now, here's the San Mateo Bridge, and I told you, Daria, that this looks, for my money, a little heavier than usual.
I would say so, huh?
It looks like it's already getting a little bit heavier in this direction, and maybe even here as well, because don't forget, just because, you know, we talk about the westbound Bay Bridge, it's shut down in both directions. So even though it's a morning morning commute, we wouldn't expect to see much traffic in the non-commute direction of the San Mateo Bridge.
Right, but look, it's getting heavier as we speak, actually.
So, and I really think it's even more apparent here on the eastbound side.
Yeah.
That's more traffic than we're used to seeing.
And Will Tran actually took a drive over the San Mateo Bridge at 3:30 this morning. All right, that's the wrong video. But we do have Will Tran's report.
Now, I sometimes take the San Mateo Bridge on our way to a story right around this time, and usually I'm probably one of only 2 or 3 other cars on the road heading toward the toll plaza, but I see several cars in front of me, maybe 6 or 7. So already people are using this. Busy this morning? No, not yet? So-so? No problems traveling the speed limit down on the San Mateo Bridge. Might be a problem a little bit later on, this being right before 4 o'clock in the morning. So here I am exiting 92 to hop on 101, and you can see with the taillights in front of me that there's a lot of braking going on. Time now is 3:58 in the morning, and I just passed the 3rd Avenue exit. No problems on 101 traveling northbound. And then the headlights that you see on the left side of your screen, that obviously is southbound 101. Seems to be more cars than usual in that direction. But so far, it seems like a lot of people are having no problems traveling this morning. I'll be back a little bit later with an update during the height of the morning commute. For now, I'm Will Tran, KRON 4 News.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big difference. So that was at 4 o'clock. We can juxtapose that right now with
right now.
Yeah.
Much heavier traffic already, Daria. And I just want to do one other thing here while we can, because I just got some new information about San Francisco.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a look at 101 northbound where it heads toward the lower deck of the Bay Bridge.
Right.
All of the traffic is being taken off at 7th Street. Okay, so they could have taken traffic off at 4th, but they're not. So it's going to exit near the Hall of Justice. But important is all the traffic inbound on the Central Freeway that would normally head to downtown in that direction can't get there. We just learned that they have closed the ramp from the Central Freeway. So for our commuters this morning that like to get into downtown San Francisco and maybe drive the Central Freeway, don't do it, because you're going to be forced onto 101 southbound instead. So if you normally drive that Central Freeway just to commute across town, this is not the weekend to do it.
Okay, and we have our live reporters out in various locations, not only on the roads, but on BART as well, which is running on time, and we're going to have live reports there, too, to see how they handle this crush of extra travelers today.
Expecting a lot.
All right, let's go to Drew for a look at more traffic choices for you.
Thank you, Daria. Taking a look at the South Bay and keeping an eye on other possible spots to see if they're going to slow down in this early morning hour. So far in the South Bay, things are moving well. Our sensors showing up green on 101, 280, 880, and 87 in all directions. So far we're seeing with that green on our sensors speeds above 50 miles an hour. Taking a look at some other traffic along Highway 4, still no slowdown here either. This is one of those spots in the morning that we expect to see slow down in the 5 o'clock and into the 6 o'clock hour, but so far green on our sensors here as well, putting speeds above 50 miles an hour. And taking a look at 580 westbound, the commute direction westbound here so far also showing up green as you head through Livermore and into the Dublin interchange. And we'll track the drive time Altamont to Dublin. So far 20 minutes. We've added only 1 minute to optimum conditions. And taking a look at the Harbor Bay Island Ferry, give you a quick bit of info here. We're going to see some expanded service today, 24 trips instead of 7 today. Departures are scheduled for every 30 minutes, and we'll see that going from 6 a.m. until noon. This afternoon also extended service about 2 o'clock until 8 this evening. So this will be starting up in just about 21 minutes. Daria or James?
All right, thank you very much, Drew. From here, let's get the forecast here for the Labor Day weekend. It's not just the Bay Bridge. This is the last big hurrah for a lot of folks for this summer and a lot of outdoor plans out there. Let's see how it'll be shaping up temperature-wise. Evie's following all that from the Weather Center. Hey, Ev.
Good morning, James. Well, it's going to be a cooler one for our last hurrah here, but we're warming it up again as we move into next week. So holiday weekend, sunny skies and warmer temperatures. 5:42 is the time right now. We're going to take a break, but we'll be back with more news, weather, and traffic.